Yorkshire is said to be a hotspot for bogus callers targeting the elderly. That's according to new figures released today. A report from Help the Aged says 1,000 pensioners a week are being fooled by con men, but many of their victims are too embarrassed to call the police. Chris Kiddy has this report.
A day centre in Leeds, and there's no shortage of sad stories about the elderly being conned by bogus callers. Edith thought hers had come from the council.
And he says, I've been sent from the corporation to do something in your back garden. So I let him in, and he said, will you turn your television down? He said, will you make me a pot of tea? And while I'm making him a pot of tea, he was in my kitchen robbing me. He pinched all my payments, and he took my pension book.
But why is Yorkshire such a hotspot for this type of crime?
It may be that Yorkshire is on the backbone of the motorway network through England, and it may be that the communities, the offenders conducting this crime, jumping off the motorway network, hitting that region, and then getting back onto the motorway to target somewhere else.
The advice, as always, is don't answer your door to someone you don't know or can't identify, and get a secure door chain fitted.
Chris Kiddy reporting. The funeral of a Barnsley teenager who died at an off-road motocross track has been held this afternoon. 13-year-old Scott Conway from Bolton-on-Dearne died last week after a collision with another rider at the SIMX indoor track in Ecclesfield. Eunice Muller is at the church in Goldthorpe, from where he joins us now. Eunice.
Yes, around 200 mourners attended the funeral service here at Goldthorpe Church for 13-year-old Scott Conway. Joining family were friends, local councillors, and also some young children who arrived bearing flowers in memory of a popular boy. You may recall, of course, that Scott died as a result of that incident at SIMX last Wednesday when his motorbike collided with another motorbike. He died later as a result of serious chest injuries. Well, today, the hearse carrying his coffin arrived. On one side were flowers in the letters of Scott's name. On the other side, a floral tribute with a picture of a motorbike in memory of Scott, who was clearly passionate about motorbikes and about motocross. In fact, whoever you speak to will testify to that passion. His coffin was then taken into church, his helmet placed carefully and poignantly on top of the coffin. Father Andrew Zinni then led a short service. His family then thanked the support of everyone who have been thinking about this family in this difficult time for them. Scott was then taken away, and he was then later cremated. As far as the investigation is concerned into what happened that day, the Health and Safety Executive is still investigating together with South Yorkshire Police and also the local authority, and 2 men remain on police bail.
Leeds United is considering legal advice after the Australian Soccer Association invoked FIFA's 5-day ruling to ban striker Mark Viduka from playing in Saturday's big game against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Viduka failed to report for the Socceroos' friendly against Venezuela last night, citing a hamstring injury picked up in last week's victory over Wolves. But now he's been banned from playing in this weekend's crucial match after the Australian board said they wouldn't accept the explanation for his absence. Well, if you ever thought of a career with the police but didn't think your face would fit, now could be a very good time to apply. Inspector Ram Khan is spearheading a new campaign to make West Yorkshire Police more representative of the population it serves. The force is one of 4 across the country taking part in a dedicated recruitment drive to attract more applicants from ethnic minorities. Well, I suppose most of us have enjoyed a trip to the East Coast holiday resorts at some time in our lives, and this is going to be celebrated in a programme here on YTV tonight. The Way We Were takes an affectionate look at the way water has influenced our lives over the past 100 years, including this wonderful archive footage. Here's the producer, Andrew Knight.
The 1950s and England's seaside holiday camps are in their heyday. Among them, Butlins at Skegness, one of the company's flagship centres, attracting thousands of people each year. On duty in 1957, the camp's official press photographer, Malcolm Trousdale, who also captured this portrait of the camp on film.
It was a great year, a great season. There was lots of fun, lots of activity. You were working in a social background, you were making people happy most of the time, and you were being happy yourself. It all kind of rubbed off on you.
factory. Everyone went to the East Coast. That's what you did when the factory closed down. There you were on that North Sea, come rain or shine. It was great.
So fascinating stuff, and don't forget you can see more of that if you watch The Way We Were here on ITV1 at 7:30 tonight. Well, now 200 years ago this week, the world changed forever when the first steam train made its debut run. Now this is an exact replica of the loco, the Penny Darren, which pulled 10 tonnes of iron, 70 passengers and 5 wagons on a 9-mile journey in Wales. Well, today the replica has been fired up at the National Railway Museum in York. It'll be going on public display at the museum's 9-day Rail Fest later this year. But for now, there was a chance to make some last-minute adjustments to the grand old lady of steam.
It's hugely significant in the history of the world. It's astonishing. This started, this was the real beginning of mechanical power transport. Suddenly man could move faster than a horse. That's never happened before.
And coming up on calendar tonight, we'll be meeting some of the country's most remarkable animals. Now, the Dogs for the Disabled Awards ceremony was held at Harwood House near Leeds earlier today, and we'll be meeting some of the owners and indeed their precious pooches as well, including Dorothy Scott from York and her dog Swift, who does everything from Dorothy for collecting a morning paper to getting the washing out of the machine. It's calendar at 6. Join us then. Good afternoon.
Yorkshire weather, in association with Budget. For low-cost car and home insurance, whatever the weather. Smart people.
Hello once again. Today has been nice and settled with high pressure in charge, and it'll continue to be that way for the next few days or so. We've seen some fairly brisk winds though, as you can see in the south of the country, tightly packed isobars indicating strong winds, but it's been largely dry with sunny spells. Now that high pressure is going to push away towards Eastern Europe towards the weekend, but there is another area of high pressure forming to the north, but by Sunday winds are swinging around to a northerly direction, so though it will be largely dry for the weekend, by Sunday we could see some showers developing, and these will turn wintry perhaps as we move into next week. A fairly chilly night with a widespread ground frost, but dry, and temperatures dipping down to and just below freezing. For tomorrow, a bright and dry day with more cloud east of the A1, sunny spells elsewhere, and temperatures to 5 Celsius in chilly northeasterly winds.
For low-cost car and home insurance, smart people.